Hello everyone, Annie here. Good morning to you, or good afternoon, or good evening. Really, you can do this practice at any time of day. I like to do it in the morning because I really like to wake up and get moving right away, start my day with intention. It's a really good tool to have in my recovery toolbox, and I have found that when I wake up this way, my day goes just a little bit more smooth. So you really don't need anything fancy, no fancy yoga clothes here, just clothes you can move in. I am wearing literally my pajamas. So really you can do this wearing anything you'd like as long as you can move freely in whatever you're wearing. You don't need a yoga mat for this, but if you have one, that's fantastic. You can lay a towel down. If you have hardwood floors, I do suggest that you get some of that grippy stuff to put underneath the towel so that you don't slip and fall. You don't want to hurt yourself. I also have yoga blocks here that can come in handy to bring the earth up to me. You can use books as long as they're the same distance. You don't necessarily need these. I like to have them around. I also like to have a blanket to put underneath my knees for when I'm down on the ground. I have really bad knees, so this is a really gentle thing to have. And I also like to have a cushion, really a pillow or anything will do. You can sit on a blanket as well. So thank you for joining me. So what we'll do is a little bit of warming up movement. We'll do some sun salutations, a couple of yoga shapes, then we'll come back down and end with a guided meditation. About 30 minutes. So I invite you to find a stance that feels good to you. I like to stand with my legs just slightly hip distance apart for this warm up, but really anything that is comfortable to you. Remember, there are no have-tos. You are your own best teacher. You listen to your body and you do what feels good to you. Oftentimes we go through life really feeling like we have no choice, so I encourage you to have choice here. If it doesn't feel good, you simply don't do it. I'm just here to suggest movement, guiding you through the practice today. Again, do what feels good to you. So inhaling, exhaling, I invite you to take a look around the room, orienting yourself to the space that you're in, noticing what you notice. Notice how you're using your head to look around the room. Noticing what colors you see. Next, I invite you to notice your feet on the ground here, feeling yourself being held by the earth. You might even lift up all 10 toes and drop them down, beginning with pinky toe, all the way down, ending with the big toe. Really feeling yourself grounded here. Coming into breath, I invite you to join me matching movement with breath. Throughout the practice, you might hear me saying inhaling and exhaling. Again, you don't have to follow those cues. You can breathe as you wish, whatever way that feels safe and comfortable to you. Bringing our hands into the scooping motion. I invite you to inhale as you bring your hands up to your chest. Flipping your hands around, exhaling as you scoop down. Inhaling here, hands up. Exhaling as you scoop down. One more time here. Nice big inhale as you scoop up. And maybe even an audible exhale as you scoop down. Beautiful. So when you feel ready, I invite you to take your chin slowly towards your chest. Just noticing where you feel this. Back up to center. Turning your head over to the left. Back to center and gently over to the right. Back to center. And if you'd like, you can do some neck rolls, going in whatever direction you choose to start, nice and slow, noticing where you feel this, stopping if there's any pain. Remember that we often move through pain. We do that enough in our lives. You don't have to do it here. Switching directions. and coming to a nice slow stop. And taking fists, making your hands into fists, and slowly joining me in moving your arms in these circles. See if you can keep your arms close to your body. You might hear some snap, crackle, pop. I know I do. It's been a while since I've moved in this way. It was 24 hours. Switching directions here. You can even speed it up. You can slow it down, really going whatever pace feels good to you. Warming up those shoulders. And coming to a nice slow stop. Keeping those same fists, I invite you to join me in pulling your hands towards your waist here, grounding down in your feet, and joining me in some nice torso twists. So I invite you to keep your legs as stable as possible. You might want to like pick your leg up as you're twisting. See if you can keep your feet planted firmly on the ground and focus on just turning in the waist, noticing where you feel this, waking up your spine. Just nice, gentle twists. And coming to a nice, slow stop. And as you're ready, bringing your arms up overhead, hands to touch. You might even glance up overhead into a slight little back bend. From here, grabbing your left wrist with your right hand as you lean over to the right. A little side stretch here. Coming back to center, and then switching the grip, grabbing your right hand with your left and leaning over to the left. Coming back to center. That feels good. Let's do that one more time. Leaning over to the right. Back to center and over to the left. Just noticing where you feel that. Hands can come back down. So we'll start with warming up our legs, finding a nice, stable grounding position in that left leg, nice and stable. If you feel like you need a chair for extra balance here, please, by all means, grab one. We're just going to slowly lift our knees up, bringing that foot back down to touch, waking up our legs here. And if you're feeling really saucy, you can straighten out your leg. If you fall, that's okay. Well, you don't want to fall flat on your face, but if you wobble, it's totally okay. Do that a couple more times. And switching to the other side, planting down into that other foot. For me, it's my right. And slowly bringing up my knee, bringing my foot back down between each knee raise. And feeling saucy, I'm going to try and do a kick, straight leg kick. I can totally feel that. And I'm going to come back to my knee. A couple more times here. All right, coming back into a standing position here. We will move into our yoga part of the practice. You might take note of how you're feeling right now. Your heart might be beating a little bit faster. You might be feeling a lot more awake. You might even be perspiring a little bit. All of that is totally okay. And you might even feel nothing, which is totally okay as well. So from here, grounding down, bringing your feet a little bit closer in. And imagining that each of your legs is a tree and roots are coming down through the bottom of each foot, grounding you down into the earth. Inhaling here, taking your arms overhead. Again, you might look up, bringing your hands back down to heart center. And bringing your arms back up again. This time, taking your hands out like wings, spreading them wide as you slowly, slowly swan dive forward, bending your knees as much as you need here. If you want to take blocks, you're welcome to bring the earth up to you as you fold forward. Your hands may not come to the earth. That's totally okay. I invite you to let gravity take hold here, letting your head get really heavy. You might even grab opposite elbows. With your hands, you might even sway back and forth, just hanging like a rag doll here. Beautiful. And just taking note of where you feel this. keeping your knees bent if that feels good to you. Next, I invite you to bring your hands to your shins or your thighs and straightening out your back here. Imagine a glass of water is on your back and you don't want it to tip. Of course, if it tips, it's totally okay. It's just water. Beautiful. Gaze can be a few feet in front of you. And exhaling as you fold back in to that ragdoll shape. And grounding down into your feet here, bending your knees as much as you need, reversing that swan dive up, bringing your hands to touch here, back down to heart center. Let's do that a couple more times. Bringing your arms back up, spreading your wings as you dive forward, back into that forward fold. Letting your head hang heavy, inhaling as you bring your hands to your shins or your thighs. Gaze is a few feet in front of you. Exhaling as you come back into that forward fold, grounding down into your feet, bending your knees as much as needed, reversing that wingspan as you come back up, hands to touch. One more time. Hands overhead, spreading those wings as we slowly dive forward into our ragdoll, letting our head hang heavy, inhaling as we bring our hands to our shins or our thighs, and exhaling as we fold back into that ragdoll shape, grounding our feet down, bending knees as much as needed, reversing the wingspan back up, hands to touch, back down to heart center. And just taking a moment here to check in with your body, check in with how you're feeling. Again, you might notice your heart's beating a little bit faster. You might notice you're feeling a little bit more awake, which is the goal for me in this practice, waking myself up. We'll go ahead and do that one more time, this time adding on a little bit to our sun salutation. Arms come up, spreading those wings as we slowly dive forward into ragdoll shape. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling as we bend forward into that ragdoll shape. I've got to kick my cat off my blanket here. So grounding down into our feet. I invite you to plant your hands down, again, bending your knees as much as you need, and stepping back with that left leg. Again, I'm putting my blanket down here to protect my knee. Into this low lunge, the top of the back left foot lays flat on the mat. Again, grab a blanket like I did if you need to, protecting your knees. If you can't keep your hands down, it's okay. We're walking our hands up to our knee here. If you notice that your knee is coming way over the top of your foot, play with bringing it back over, seeing if you can align the knee on top of the ankle. Arms come up. And taking that right arm back behind you as you twist over to the right, noticing where you feel that in your body. Gaze is over the left hand, coming back up. And see if you can sink your hips down a little bit towards the earth. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Bringing your hands down, tucking the toes of that left foot, grounding down into the hands and the right foot, and stepping up to meet the left foot with the right. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be graceful, whichever way you can get back into this forward fold. And inhaling, halfway lift, exhaling, folding down, bending our knees as much as we need. Reversing that wingspan as we come up, hands touch, back down to heart center. Shall we do the other side? So joining me in bringing our hands back up, spreading our wings as we fold forward into that hanging ragdoll shape, inhaling as we halfway lift, exhaling, folding back forward. planting down our hands, bending our knees as much as we need as we take our right leg back this time, dropping it down. Back of the right foot falls flat on the mat, walking our hands up to our left knee, back into this low lunge on the other side. Taking our hands up overhead. And then taking that left arm back as we twist over to the left side. You can gaze over that right hand that's in front of you, noticing where you feel this in your body, bringing your arms back up. Invite you to sink your hips a little bit lower. We'll be here for 3, 2, 1. Bringing our hands back down to frame that foot, tucking the toes of the right foot as we ground down into the left foot and stepping our right foot to meet our left. Again, doesn't have to be graceful. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling, folding back down. And bending our knees as much as we need, grounding down into our feet. We reverse that wingspan up, hands to touch, hands back down to heart center. And checking in again with how we feel here. Remember to not work through any pain. We do enough of that. If it hurts, simply stop and do whatever feels good to you. So staying where you are, I'm going to come and face you. Finding ourselves grounding down into the earth through our feet. Finding a nice, stable stance in your left foot. We're going to work on balance, which is really fun to do first thing in the morning. If you need to bring a chair next to you, by all means, go ahead and grab that. So grounding down into the left foot as our base of support here. Slowly start to bring the right leg up. You can grab underneath the right leg. See if you can straighten your spine here. You might wobble a little bit. You might even play with taking your arms out into a T shape. Being here for 3, 2, tap your foot down if you need, and 1. Ooh, a little wobbly there, shaking out that left leg. And we'll go on to the other side. So grounding down into that right foot as a base of support, slowly bringing your left leg up. You might even grab underneath it, straightening up your spine. Again, if you need a chair, please go ahead and grab one. And playing here, maybe move your ankle around, playing here with moving your arms out into a T shape. You might wobble. We'll be here from 3, 2, and 1. Balance is a little shaky this morning. That is okay. Shaking out our legs. So we will do one more sun salutation as we bring ourselves down to the ground and head into our final resting shape for our meditation. So if you have a towel or blanket, go ahead and move it out of the way. Bringing your arms up. Hands touch. Spreading that your wingspan wide as you fold forward into that ragdoll shape. Inhaling, halfway lift. Exhaling as you fold forward. And bending your knees as much as you need here so you can plant your hands down and just simply stepping back one leg at a time until you're on your hands and knees here into this nice tabletop shape. We will bring our back toes to touch. And if it feels good to you, sitting back towards your heels, spreading your knees wide as your chest falls between your knees onto the mat. Forehead can come to the mat, arms out in front. We'll do a couple more side stretches here. Nice big deep breaths. Notice what it feels like to be in this shape after all of that movement. And if it feels good to you, start walking your hands over to the right. Head goes back down, noticing where you feel the stretch in your body. Walking your hands back to center and then back over to the left. Dropping the head down. Noticing where you feel this in your body. Beautiful. Walking your hands to center and then slowly walking your hands back towards your knees as you find yourself in a comfortable seated position. You can lay down if you'd like. I'm not going to lay down because I'm trying to wake up. I don't want to fall back asleep, but by all means, if laying down is how you would like to end this practice, please go ahead and do so. I like to sit with my hips raised on a cushion. It's hard for me to sit just straight on the mat. And if you want to find a seated position with your back against the wall, that's totally fine too. You can lay on your belly, you can lay on your side. Really, please choose anything that feels comfortable to you. So I'll give you some time to get adjusted, coming into that final shape that you'd like to rest in. Checking in with your body, notice how you feel. I find that coming into stillness and into any kind of meditation is a lot easier for me if I have done some movement prior. And for those of you that wish to do so, we'll go ahead and head into our guided meditation practice for about 8-ish minutes. At the end of the practice, I will gently bring you out. If you feel uncomfortable in this activity, you can press stop on the video. You don't have to do it. You can say goodbye, totally fine. If you want to stay, you just know that you can always bring yourself out of this at any time. And you might even choose to sit and just engage your mind in another manner for the last 8 minutes or so. Totally up to you. So if you want to break from this at any time, you could bring your attention to the sounds or colors of the room or something external in the room. You might even find an object that you want to place in front of you. This is your time, your practice. We're creating this experience together. So as I offer clues, please do whatever feels good to you and ignore the rest. So I invite you to bring your attention to your physical posture and whatever shape you're in. Find a seated position where you can rest comfortably. You may feel your weight balanced on the seat of the cushion beneath you or the ground beneath you. You might experience an elongated, comfortable spine, an uplifted feeling in your chest. You might feel your shoulder blades relax down your back. And again, at any time during this practice, if you become uncomfortable, experience any pain, you have a choice in how you wish to respond. You can choose to wait out the discomfort if that feels okay to you, see if it subsides, or you can adjust your physical posture so you can maintain a feeling of ease. You want your posture to be comfortable and sustainable, so please do what works for your body. As you settle in, you may feel the muscles of your face relax. You might even see how it feels to have your eyes open or softening your gaze in front of you. And if you prefer, if it feels safe to you, you may close your eyes. So when you're ready, you might notice where you feel your breath in your body. You might feel your abdomen rise and fall. The air beneath your nostrils. You might feel a soft, rhythmic quality in your torso. If your breath becomes difficult or unpleasant to focus on, bring your attention to an object in the room as your focal point. See what it might feel like to rest quietly with your breath or with your attention on this object. When you notice that thoughts or feelings arise, you might experiment with bringing your attention back to your breath or another consistent object of attention. And remember that there's nothing wrong with thoughts and feelings arising. Just gently remind yourself that they're not needed right now. And bring your attention back to your breath. This state of being may feel pleasant or relaxed. It might even feel somewhat uncomfortable, or you might feel nothing at all. I invite you to respect whatever is arising for you. Take care of yourself. Again, if you need to take a break, you're welcome to change your inner experience to something that feels more comfortable for the moment, and rejoin us at any time. Again, if you notice yourself thinking, gently bring your attention back to the experience of your body breathing or your chosen object of attention. We'll be here for another minute. As we slowly start to bring this meditation to a close, I invite you to take a moment to offer yourself gratitude and respect for whatever arose for you in this practice, to whatever degree you engaged. And we'll slowly start by coming out of this meditation by bringing movement back to our body, maybe wiggling your fingers, your toes. If you're laying down, maybe a big stretch overhead. Taking some time to slowly bring movement back into your body. If you're laying down and you'd like to join me in a seated position, you're welcome to do that too. And when you feel ready, I invite you to take your arms out, opening your chest, bringing your arms back, and bringing your arms in, giving yourself a nice big hug. I know I have missed hugs in these times of COVID. I find myself giving my own self a lot of hugs. Again, opening your arms, opening that chest, and this time bringing the opposite arm on top as you give yourself one more hug. You might even sway back and forth, drop your cheek to your hand. And as we release that hug, bringing your arms overhead, palms to touch, exhaling, hands down to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, you can always come back to your breath throughout your day. If things start to get tough, you have that as your friend. Have an absolutely wonderful day, evening, afternoon, whatever it may be, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.